passes in 23 career games under Matt Canada. Since his first start last year, these three guys have more touchdowns. You may have noticed that Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers haven't been playing in the NFL, and Jordan Love wasn't playing last year. Head coach Mike Tomlin talked about why he made the change this week.
This is a result-oriented business, and to be short, the improvements were not rapid enough or consistent enough for us to proceed. I just want to see points. I want to engineer victory more fluidly, and points do that. We're still showing signs of September football kind of in some instances, and that's unacceptable, man. It's late November. I'm focused on this week in terms of the development of Kenny. We're not urinating on the fire, man. We're getting ready to play a football game and win this week. That is the only agenda here. It's not big picture and 2024 and all of that. This organization is not wired like that.
I could listen to him talk all day. I could also listen to Kimberly Martin talk all day. She's in Cincy with the very latest on the happenings this week around Pittsburgh. What's going on?
Good morning, Sam. Man, I could listen to Mike Tomlin really talk forever. But here's the deal. He's right. Their offense ranks 28th overall, 28th in scoring, and they've been outgained in every single game they've played. Needless to say, everyone felt like a change had to happen. But right now, Sam, the Steelers walk into today hoping that it's a complete reset of their offense. But really, it's gut check time. Especially for Kenny Pickett, a guy who threw for 106 yards last week, a guy who now there's no OC to blame. They have two new OCs, and it's Kenny Pickett's time to shine. Now, this game, they have two OCs. One is the interim OC, that's Faulkner. He's the running backs coach, but the guy calling the plays in Kenny's ear is actually his QB coach, Mike Sullivan. Now, if you're wondering, what will the Steelers offense look like? Tight end Pat Freiermuth said you can't overhaul a complete offense right now. So it's going to be a lot of what we've been doing with some wrinkles, but leaning more into what Kenny and Mike Sullivan want to do. Now, this has been a very chaotic time this week, tempers flaring in the locker room, losses piling up, but everybody's confident. They still think that they can make the playoffs, and today it starts. That run to the postseason starts for the Steelers. Hopefully they get their offense rolling.
Yeah, Kimberly, normally, Alex, I would come back at you after what you said last week, saying that Mike Tomlin and the Steelers don't fire people. They're not that type of organization.
Every 90 years.
I was going to say, once every 90 years. But I think it's actually good to notice that it must have been that bad that they were willing to go away from how they normally operate as an organization. Now you got no one to blame in that position right now. For Kenny Pickett, what's your expectation for what we're going to see from him today?
Yeah, this was very different than what was going on in Buffalo. I mean, listen, they were dead last in basically every offensive category, and then even just the eyeball test when you turn on the tape, what you were seeing, the dysfunction, the miscommunication. Listen, this wasn't an NFL offense. They decided to make the change. And for me, again, what does it look like? What are the changes? You heard Kimberly talk about it. What can you do in 6 days that really shows up on Sunday? And for me, I've got to see more play action pass. Listen, they've actually been running the ball pretty well these last few weeks. And listen, it's one of the best things Kenny Pickett does is on the run. They have the 3rd lowest play action rate in the whole NFL. And it doesn't make sense. You're a run ball, you're running a well defense team. You've got 2 great wideouts. And also last week, going against that good defensive front, you're just going to drop back and let Myles Garrett rush the dot, right? Move the launch point, get outside, get the ball to these playmakers, short throw, long run. It just makes too much sense. And so if there is one thing I want to see more of, it's exactly that. It's a perfect complement to these running backs in this run game. It helps your offensive line. It needs to show up. Again, Kenny's good at it. Do more of that.
All this talk about Kenny, one thing that I listened to Coach Tomlin talking about by making that change with offensive coordinators, talking about it's not September anymore, it's November. You've been in this division. In this division, late in the season, run the football. You talking about young running back Jalen Ward. He only had 9 carries last week, 9, but he had 130 yards rushing with a touchdown. So I'm interested in seeing if Mike Sullivan, the play caller, can open this offense. Over the last month, we've been talking about the difference between Pickens and Deontay Johnson. They've been forced Forcing the ball to Deontay Johnson last week, 8 targets, only 2 catches. Well, you got another stud wide receiver over there, too. So with this new change at offense coordinator, I want to see if Mike Sullivan can get everybody involved. You made a great point with the play-action pass because of what the running game has done over the last couple of weeks, like you said. But this is the man you're seeing over your TV, man. They've been connecting in the offseason, OTAs, since Kenny Pickett has got there. So Mike Sullivan, he has his work cut out for him today. Get both of these star-studded receivers involved in this offense, and I think that the Pittsburgh Steelers can make some hay.
Well, you know, like you make this move, we saw the difference it made in Buffalo. They look like a different offense to me. Used motion, did all those type of things. I agree with you, Alex, so much on getting that quarterback underneath, using the play action and all that. If you want to make it easier on the quarterback, run the football, play action pass, allows you to get more separation down the field with your receivers.
Yes.
And I think this showed that Mike Tomlin believes in his quarterback more. I mean, that to me is what this shows. Like, you know what? I know this quarterback's better than he's performing. Sam, you put up a stat right there about the 13 touchdowns in the last 23 games as a starter. You'd have to go back 20 years to have a quarterback with a lower touchdown completion rate in that many games. 20 years. So to me, this is it. Are you the guy or are you not? I think Tomlin, by making the move right now, is like, let's see it. We got 7 games left. Let's see it, Kenny Pickett.
Specifically, I mean, with the play-action pass, I totally agree. But with Kenny Pickett, now all eyes are on you in terms of who you are as a quarterback, because I'm still curious as to why the middle of the field he's allergic to. Okay, because he just doesn't throw it in the middle of the field. It could have been the offensive coordinator, maybe it's Pickett, but these are his completions outside the numbers. These are the tougher throws, in my opinion. These are the throws we want to force you to make defensively. Anything outside the numbers, I want to see him have some targets over the middle of the field. You know, if Sullivan can call plays that Kenny can make those easy throws, that's what I want to see. And now to Tomlin, okay. What was the last straw was now these players starting to complain publicly in the locker room fights, because now what Pittsburgh really has now is a scapegoat. And the scapegoat was Matt Canada. So he was the one everyone blames now. I mean, these are the ones you're frustrated with play calls. You start bickering amongst each other. You start complaining like losers in small groups. That's what happens on these teams. Tomlin's got to be careful now, because these players, if this doesn't work now, and where's the criticism going to go to from the players? It's going to go to Pickett. It's going to go to Kenny Pickett, because all of a sudden you've told these players, there's your voice, I'll do something about it. Now you may have to do something about the quarterback. That's the only thing I'm wary about here, because this is uncharacteristic of the Pittsburgh Steelers. What was it, 90 years or something like that?
Been a while.
Because Tomlin, we love to hear him talk, right? But we love to hear him always talk about accountability and getting better. Now, finally, he said, it's someone's fault.
Yeah.
He didn't say it. He didn't say that. But the actions say that.
Yeah.
Right.
When the actions say it's somebody's fault, it was Canada's. So Pickett, there's a lot of pressure on him.
No doubt. And I think a lot of this comes to Randy's point, getting the ball to these 2 receivers outside. These are great playmakers on the outside that have been really frustrated these last several weeks. And now we're hearing reports on it, right? And I think that led to this change. And to your point, Teddy, now it's going to go to Kenny. No Matt Canada now, it's on you. Can you get the ball to these guys, get them involved, get them in the game? I mean, again, they want to feel part of it. They're competitive guys. They've got to quiet down that turbulence. A lot of noise in Pittsburgh right now.
I mean, you're seeing single high safety. That's why you're getting all those throws to the outside and things. It can't get any easier. To me, that's what you're going to get. And why? Because Cincinnati's going to have to stop the run. If it doesn't happen this week, I'm really concerned. And I'll tell you why. Cincinnati's ranked, 30th in the league in total defense? It better happen today.
Yeah, that play action will help them over the middle of the field, too.
Better happen. Go ahead.
Sorry, I was just going to ask Alex, because I'm curious from, Kimberly was telling us about the play calling situation. They've got their running backs coach, technically the offensive coordinator. And then they've got the QB coach calling some of the plays, but it sounds like it's going to be a collaborative effort. How normal is that? Is that concerning from a quarterback's perspective?
It's different all over the NFL. In my experience, the best places are collaborative like this. Like, listen, you've got one coach is involved in the run game, one coach is pass game, another coach has got short yardage and goal line. The receiver coach has got 2-minute and gadgets, and you definitely want to kind of split the pie amongst your offensive staff. And then obviously everybody takes ownership, right? Everybody's involved, and it's no different on game day. You have input from all your offensive coaches, and then obviously it's up to the play caller to obviously make the final decision. That's not everywhere, though. It obviously looks like what's going on here. And no surprise with Tomlin. I mean, I think that's the kind of coaching staff that he's put together. But we'll see again what it looks like. What are the changes you can make in 6 days? And what does that look like on game day, on Sunday here?
Well, and my guess is having the quarterback coach call the plays, you're going to get what Kenny Pickett likes out there. So it's a great opportunity for him to show what he can do over this final stretch.
What head coaches do is they'll come in, even though Tomlin's got his background in defense, just like I did, you will come in with the coordinator, all right, your quarterback, and your offensive staff will be in there, and we'll say, okay, what do you love, like?
Bây giờ mình sẽ dùng kéo để cắt hình cái cánh của ngôi sao. Mình chỉ cần một cái đường cắt thôi là mình sẽ có thể cắt được cái phần cánh của ngôi sao. Mình sẽ cắt theo cái đường này, cái đường chéo như này. Bây giờ mình sẽ dùng kéo để cắt nhé. Mình cắt một đường thẳng chéo từ dưới lên trên. Sau khi cắt xong, mình mở cái hình của mình ra thì mình sẽ có hình ngôi sao như thế này. Mình sẽ dán cái hình ngôi sao vào bề mặt của cái hình tròn này. Bây giờ mình sẽ dùng keo dán để gắn cái hình ngôi sao lên trên cái bề mặt của hình tròn nhé. Mình dùng keo dán hoặc súng bắn keo hoặc là keo nến hoặc là băng dính hai mặt cũng được. Mình sẽ gắn keo ở phía đằng sau của ngôi sao này. Mình gắn đều các cái phần cánh này. Sau khi đã bôi đều keo vào các cái cánh của ngôi sao thì bây giờ mình sẽ gắn cái ngôi sao lên trên hình tròn. Khi gắn thì lưu ý là mình sẽ gắn làm sao để cái hình của mình nó cân ở trong chính giữa cái hình tròn này. Nếu các bạn muốn làm ngôi sao nhỏ hơn thì khi cắt mình sẽ cắt cái đường cắt sâu hơn thì mình sẽ có một cái ngôi sao nhỏ hơn. Sau khi mình dán hình ngôi sao thì mình đã có cái hình như thế này. Nếu muốn cái quạt của mình đẹp hơn thì mình có thể làm thêm một cái hình giống như thế này để làm ở phía mặt sau của cái quạt. Ở đây thì mình sẽ làm một cái mặt như thế này thôi. Các bạn có thể sáng tạo để làm thêm một mặt nữa dán ở đằng sau của chiếc quạt. Sau khi đã có cái hình tròn màu đỏ và ngôi sao màu vàng như thế này thì mình sẽ dùng cái tờ giấy còn lại để làm cái phần tay cầm cho chiếc quạt. Ở đây mình sẽ dùng một tờ giấy màu đỏ để nó cùng tông với màu nền chiếc quạt của mình. Mình cầm một góc của tờ giấy, sau đó cuộn nó lại, cuộn một góc của tờ giấy lại như thế này, cuộn đều lên phía trên để tạo thành một cái giống như là một cái que. Đấy, mình sẽ cuộn đều cái tờ giấy lên trên như thế này. Sau khi cuộn xong thì mình dùng keo dán để gắn cái phần đầu giấy thừa này. Sau khi gắn xong thì từ một tờ giấy phẳng ban đầu mình đã có một cái que màu đỏ như thế này. Bây giờ mình sẽ dán cái phần tay cầm này lên trên phần nan của chiếc quạt. Mình lật mặt sau của chiếc quạt ra, dùng súng bắn keo gắn một cái đường keo ở phía sau như thế này. Sau đó mình đặt cái que của mình vào đây. Khi gắn cái phần que này vào, mình sẽ giữ cố định khoảng một vài giây để cho cái lớp keo này nó khô. Sau khi lớp keo của mình khô thì mình đã có một chiếc quạt hình ngôi sao 5 cánh rất là đặc biệt như thế này. Các bạn cùng ngắm nhìn chiếc quạt với mình nhé. Nhìn từ mặt đằng trước thì chiếc quạt của mình có hình một ngôi sao màu vàng nhạt rất là nổi bật ở đằng trước như thế này. Và phần nền của nó thì là một cái phần nền màu đỏ. Phía mặt sau chiếc quạt của mình sẽ như thế này. Mình có thể dùng để quạt mát như thế này. Video hướng dẫn làm một chiếc quạt hình ngôi sao 5 cánh ở trên một hình tròn màu đỏ của mình đến đây là kết thúc rồi. Cảm ơn các bạn đã quan tâm theo dõi. Hãy cùng đón chờ những sản phẩm tiếp theo của mình nhé. Còn bây giờ thì tạm biệt và hẹn gặp lại.